In this video, 4 Wolvesville YouTubers are selecting the strongest roles in the game to join their team. Each one of us gets to take turns to select a role that should be in their team in a particular setup, from strong villagers to werewolves, from killer and third party to the quote-unquote weak villagers. Together, we are building 4 setups. Once one of us picks a role, nobody else can take it, which makes this game of course much more exciting. When the setups are completed, we are going to test them on players, and they may not know that we actually picked the roles. They will be told instead that they are playing a tournament on semi-randomly generated setups. The more they win, the more points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the day gets 380 gems or 5 common role cards. For us, the setup builders, there is honor on the line, as every time the village wins, the 2 YouTubers who selected the village roles on that setup get a point. Whereas with any evil win, the 2 YouTubers selecting evils get a point. Welcome to the Wolvesville setup draft. Let's start off with the draft with picking the strong villagers. Right now it doesn't really matter who chooses what color, but here you see it either way. Darius started and picked Warden, definitely feels like a ranked thing to do. Raphael took the Vigilante for the setup green, Joker picked the Ritualist for yellow, and now since we use the snake pattern, which means that the first one starting is also gonna be the last one in the second round, means that I get to pick 2 times. Since Joker started going for the revivers and I couldn't miss out on one of them, I went with the medium first and then the jailer. Joker took the gunner now, and Raphael reinforced his Vigilante with the journalist of all things, which to me was a surprising pick because I never saw the journalist as the strongest of the strongest RSVs. But yeah, it's not gonna be the first surprising pick that Raphael will do in this video. Darius then got 2 picks because it's the snake pattern. RSV and Conjurer it is, and that's also his final pick since we get 3 RSVs in every setup. The random rolls are always a bit of a gamble of course, but potentially may win one of us an extra game when we test these setups. I then said this. I'm really surprised for some reason that no one has picked the seer yet, or the analyst.
I pick Sir.
I picked analyst.
And then I could finish my lineup of jailer and medium with the bully or a non-provable info role. Well, that's an easy choice, give me a bully. For the werewolves, Raphael went for the Nightmare Werewolf instead of Red, which is the one he chooses the werewolves for. To be fair, blocking Warden and Conjurer might be very valuable for the evils, but still Nightmare Werewolf as the strongest werewolf, I don't know if I would have done that. Then Joker went with an outrageous pick.
Swamp.
Okay, Swamp Wolf, okay. I was next, and since nobody picked arguably the strongest werewolf, why not me, right? Confusion Wolf. This might be the perfect role to counter a gunner in particular, as claiming will be more confusing and gunner will have to be extra good. Darius got 2 this time for green and took Stubborn Werewolf and Sorcerer. Stubborn Werewolf is strong all around, and considering he wasn't gonna pick for a while, Sorcerer could be his must-have for him right now. This made me realize that a werewolf team without info is probably a bad idea, so I took Wolfseer right off the bat, and meaning Raphael or Joker would be without a wolf informer.
The 2 I had in my head are got already picked by Darius there. Thank you for that. And I will pick the blind werewolf.
Raphael was the unlucky one here, and he did an insane pick.
Shaman. Summoner.
Okay, Summoner isn't a bad shout, but Shaman in a setup without info so far is risky if you want to put it soft. Joker then took the Junior and started building an empire of aggro wolves. At this point I went for the random werewolf, hoping that I could sneak in another strong werewolf, and especially to keep some options open for the werewolves when it comes to pretending X-werewolf is in the game, like Wolfshaman is in the game, or oh, I'm nightmared, I couldn't act. Darius got 2 turns again. He finished off his werewolf team like this.
Wolfluencer.
Yeah, I was also considering Wolfluencer for mine.
You know what, we'll play it safe. Toxic.
2 all-around strong werewolves. His team looks very good right now against a village that lacks material. I finished mine with the Berserk so that we'd be able to break down protection and get right to the gunner or the analyst. Joker picked Scribe, adding to his army of aggro, and Raphael finished this one off with the Gentle Wolf, a role that you may not know about, but it's a Guardian advanced role, or it would be if it comes to the game ever. It currently is something that only a few people can play with in custom games, including me, And it got a buff apparently recently, so maybe it is a good pick from Raphael. Moving on to section 3, here we pick the solos. Important note is that we decided that if you pick a converter role like Sect, Bandit or Zombie, or you pick the Instigator, you can only pick one other solo role. And of course we had a rule as well that you can only have one killer and 2 voting or other third party roles in this setup. Joker started here and he took the Evil Detective, which at first seems like a strange pick because it's not like the first role you come to think of like strong evil roles maybe, but later you will see why this will actually work. My first pick was not gonna be a solo killer, in fact it was a random voting role. I was really convinced that this would be the best pick to make the village need to consider 3 different realities at the same time as long as the role wasn't exposed. And I like gambling. Darius just wanted to strengthen the werewolf team that I built in setup yellow and picked the werewolf fan. Probably the best role to pick if you look at the non-killers, as Darius needs evo wins on this setup and the werewolf fan just happens to be that one role that is guaranteed evil, even though it is a cursed advanced role. Raphael gets 2 picks for blue right now, since we're still doing the snake pattern.
Siren.
I'm so sorry for the village right now.
I will choose full.
Darius chose to end his team by picking the Instigator now. We do know that setup yellow has 5 werewolves, 10 villagers and 1 Instigator, but 1 werewolf and 1 villager will of course be recruits, giving us a 9v3v4 situation.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
If I am lucky, I could get a bandit or a sect leader or something like that, so
Yeah.
it could be
That's
hella broken.
It's not a terrible gamble. That's like about a 1 in 3, 1 in 4-ish, give or take. 1 in 5 maybe.
Joker gets to finish off the evil faction of green, taking 2 voting roles, and this is exactly why the Evil Detective is a great pick. If Energist is dangerous or Headhunter turned village, you get a double kill for free. My gambling wasn't over as I took Cupid. Of course, it's not an RNG slot like random werewolf, random killer or random voting, but if Cupid selects 2 evils, it's over for the evils. If it selects 2 villagers, it may help for the evils, and if it's a villager and a werewolf that we see coupled, then we might actually be cooking with the Cupid. Raphael also took a gamble with the Grave Robber. Considering he was lost in the queue and his other options were Cursed and Lurker, I might have done the same in this case. Grave Robber Siren, who knows, right? The most decisive section was yet to come. Of course, it's the weaker villagers, but in reality we start off pretty strong as I get to start and only Astro is a good pick now. You may have a double killer and a toxic wolf, but what's that to do against the Astro? Darius started with auto reveal role Mayor. He said he wanted another role but was unsure if the player in charge could use it to its full potential, so that's why he went for the Mayor. Raphael had another outrageous pick.
Okay. Bellringer.
Man, I still don't know if he has a different perception of strength, if he understood the concept or if it was just him over IQing me, or maybe a hidden force told him to pick the Bellringer and the Shaman. Joker takes Ghost Lady and Night Watchman, which indicated once again that he had a very sneaky plan building up, because in no world would I have picked the Ghost Lady as my first pick. Raphael continued building a balanced village.
Bodyguard.
Darius takes Forger, I get a double pick now and I really want to make the time on this setup as bad and boring as it could be, but will it pay off? I'm gonna go the lame way and take Passy. Let me still take the Butcher. Darius values bullets and takes Witch. He said he doesn't need info when everyone can just prove himself, which is, yeah, true. Raphael took another bold one.
RV.
That is
Wow,
interesting.
that's definitely a wild pick because it's also claim space. Joker continued with the Violinist because it works well against the Cupid, which I have to say is a very smart choice and I would not have thought about that. Darius advised Joker to pick Trapper then. Strong overall and Night Watchman can prove it as well, so extra strong. Raphael continued with Flagger, which is a good pick I'd say. Darius took Judge, going for the ammo, and Toxic is kind of the theme of the green setup as I add the Fortune Teller to the roster, and despite their attempts to lure me to pick Forky,
Use Forky! I don't know why you're laughing. Forky is the strongest rule in the game.
Forky, yeah.
So true. Choose it. You should choose it now.
I ended up picking the priest. Darius takes the 6th villager that has at least 1 bullet, namely Marksman, and Raphael was still trying for a balanced village, taking Avenger. Joker really forced his protection strategy through here with the tough guy and the doctor. Red is now over. Raphael takes Avenger's little bro, the loudmouth. He still has that bonus villager though, because the instigator gives 1 less roll to evils and 1 more to the village. Not before Darius did this crazy pick though.
It seemed like an interesting choice, but hear me out. Seer Apprentice. My setup is literally useless, yeah?
Yeah, it's like
But
a
again-
Falcon.
Yeah, it is. But everything else is provable. I don't have to worry about village losing. It just
Yeah.
wins, right? With his setup, he has analysts. I'm not letting him have 2 analysts.
My final pick, of course it had to be somewhat provable, Grumpy Grandma. Raphael's final pick is the Gambler. What is the setup you guys think will be the most criticized?
Blue one. The werewolves and evils will be really mad.
yeah, in most
I
setups,
think-
yeah.
But if we can get away with saying, like, it's like RNG, it was, like, randomly determined, then, like, people are gonna be much more, like, lenient in regards to them.
Yeah.
I think the one that gets criticized the hardest might be the first one, just because, like, there's village steamrolls, there's wolf steamrolls. I think setup 4 is, like, very... Village is, like, coherent. Even with only 1 RV, I think if you put this village into a ranked setup, the most people would complain about would be the fact that instead of having 3 RVs, you have an Avenger and a Loudmouth, which
Yeah.
I think could technically work as like a balancing mechanic. But then the issue would be the evil team, which is
Yeah.
absolutely
Instant
horrendous.
confusion Wolf Werewolf and it's just like unfair.
Like, they can lose.
With the setups made, it's time to test them on the players now. To incentivize the players to play well, Joker and I put a prize on the line. 380 gems or 5 roll cards for the winner and some less roll cards for the second place. What is your predictions for these 4 setups? Will the blue setup be an easy village win with so many bullets, or can the siren put a stop to it? On setup red, will the werewolves actually be as chances against that mass stack of protectors, or can some RNG help them win? Or what about the slow and toxic lineup in green, with many provable rolls and review abilities? Is a sorcerer and an evil detective actually enough? And then we have setup yellow, presumably the only evil-sided setup of the bunch, with 5 werewolves and an instigator against a fairly well-balanced village. Or are Raphael's shady picks actually a lot better than we think? Let's find out. Game 1 sees 2 judge claims, one being the real one conflicting 3. Siren selected 2 head guys first night. Mayor is a good kill, probably not priority, but Grave Robber is a bad one. Which gets revived? And slain by the Forger's sword. Also day 2 has the Swamp active, resulting in 16 dying here. 16 is Siren and takes down the Forger. Marksman shot Wolfscribe and Werewolves take immediate revenge. With no action and just 2 Seer Apprentice claims, Judge gets another kill on the full this time. So many bullets, but not everyone has had his turn. Werewolves kill Bully, that one player who didn't shoot yet. Village isn't sure about 12 and 15, they go for 15 and with the promise to jail 12. Well, 15 is less werewolf. Junior attacking Judge and game is over. 3 villagers survived, pretty comfortable win. Werewolves kill their easiest scapegoat. Well, this is starting great for the evils, isn't it? Since I composed the RSVs here, I'm happy with this development. 6 counterclaiming a Forger claim shows how hard this setup is for the evils. As you can see right here, they lynch the blind werewolf and in night 2, a shit ton happens.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Wow, that was a lot of deaths. Seer Apprentice got revived, which is basically the equivalent of reviving a Forky. 4 gets lynched, 9 had swamp votes on him, it's just use the swamp and siren now. No kills even by werewolves. Village goes for silent jailer. Well, maybe this in multitude is what the werewolves would need to win on this setup. Night 4 sees another 3 deaths. Village figured out who the Siren was, and another game with 3 villagers alive at the end. With 2 relatively easy wins on setup blue, can Raphael and Joker get redemption with any evil win? They certainly start well with that medium kill, although medium doesn't hold extremely much value in a game in which every villager is strong. 2 and 4 claim Grave Robber, 16 judge and convicts 12 who is village sided apparently. Jailer is quick with a shot on a GR claim. 2 is full. Witch kills Seer Apprentice. Silent Night from the werewolves, but that doesn't mute the village. Bully kills Swamp Wolf in fact, and collectively they lynch the junior werewolf who tags Marksman. It seems to be a common theme though that forgers get miskilled or their sword is used to miskill because another villager got a taste of the super sword. No kill in night 3 again. Are they attacking the Siren or something? The Siren goes down now without attack, and they did absolutely nothing in this game. It turns out that they selected 3 werewolves, which honestly cannot be true because there are only 2 dead, but the point is, they were unlucky. Another Swamp Wolf dies now, which suggests that the scribe is active and 10 might have been scribe too, so the Siren was right after all. 14 is the last werewolf indeed, half the hacking village lived, so that is 3 points for Darius and myself so far. Let's check out the protection monstrosity of a setup that is red. Game 4 is the first one on the very defensive minded setup, and things won't get any spicier when the werewolves kill the Fool. Since protectors can be proven, evils take the path of claiming Conjurer and VO. 11 gets mislynched and the RK is Arso, who kills the Night Watchman and the Gentle Wolf. To be fair, having waited here might have been better, but that's easier said than done of course. The village was unwilling to vote and the only actual revival roll revives. They doubled down with a VO kill, but 1 was probably Conjurer. 3 of course goes down quickly again, although without bullets a day, it takes all the way till voting. Arso kills another werewolf and there was indeed another Conjurer who also died as VO. Warden jailed 13 and 14, 13 dies on shooting 14 and the Warden dies as long as they are coupled.
It's a trap!
10 gets lynched as Wolf Shaman, leaving just the RK Arsonist alive. Day 5 they get lynched, turns out it is 7. Village wins the first one, too bad for me and Raphael. Let's pick up the pace with an SK as random killer. 5 gets mislynched because 6 counterclaimed her. Gentle Wolf dies in Warden jail and gets revived as well. No kills night 2 from evils, this shows that the protection motive might actually work out right now. 8 is an easy lynch. At least the werewolves can get a kill in night 3. 6 and 16 are exposed fake. 16 is Cupid here. And right when the village wants to lynch 6, a revolt appears. Anarchist game guys. SK kills Doc. Anarchist dies right now, right in time, and they also were coupled with a wolf summoner. The evils get 2 kills this night. Can you believe it? We might have a chance for now. Especially because the village ties the votes. In the 7th night already, the tough guy gets triggered with the result of 9 dying. Regardless, it is a 2v2 now and evils should actually win right now. Neither evils nor village kills in the 8th cycle. Werewolves kill the Conjurer Cupid now, such a useful combi, isn't it? The Ghost Lady now decides whether SK or the werewolf shall win, but for the actual creators of the setup, fate is already sealed. Raphael and I are the first ones to get a point from an evil win. And can you believe that would happen on this setup of any of the setups? It is 1 for 1 now on setup red. Can we get a second evil win? Well, like you can expect, no kills night 1. There are still literally 5 protectors in this setup and 6 if you count the Warden, but of course the Warden cannot act in the first night. Imagine Butcher would have been here too. It seems like we have a detective in this game or 2 who then dies and 15 gets lynched. Oh yeah, in case you didn't notice, we have an alchemist in this game. Elena comes back of course, very predictable play from the Wolf Summoner, and Doc dies. Now Alchemist has a terrible spree with killing the Cupid and the Fool, and yes, Cupid is evil when the couple is alive. 15 goes down. In the jail, we see another couple lose their lives. Wolf Shaman and Alchemist of all things. This is what I was talking about with the RNG factor of the Cupid. At least the werewolves avenged. 10 is exposed by Vio and is Gentle Wolf. And then 6 Wolf Summoner died and we truly got to see the potential of this village. 5 were alive at the end of the game. We are now at the halfway point and as things stand now, Darius has 5 points, I have 4, Joker has 2 and Raphael only has 1 point. Can Raphael's crazy picks still get him some points? Let's find out. If you are watching right now, thank you so much for doing so, because I put a lot of time into making these videos and I know it's very easy to just go to the end to see what the results are of the tournament and of the setups. But the fact that you are still watching tells me that you like the content and that you take your time to actually appreciate what I made. Thank you a lot, let's go back to the video. In contrast to the red setup, we already see 3 deaths night 1. Yes, Evil Detective took a gamble and indeed killed the Headhunter, Seer and Journalist died too. Which might look like great kills in a normal game, but honestly, these are scapegoats on this setup. 11 water 6, but 6 is not a werewolf. Sorcerer dies. I would say this game is really a 50-50 at this point and it doesn't get much better for the village right here. The Evil Detective keeps balance and kills the Wolfluencer, which honestly might be the best role even for the Evil Detective to kill, as you don't want the votes to turn against you. Do you remember that the Anarchist is in this game? Well, here is your reminder. Funnily, 10 revealed himself as Fortune Teller, which is the giveaway, of course, that you are not the Fortune Teller when there can only be one. The village kills 7, but Stubborn Werewolf has a double life. Day 4 is a weird one, where 5 reclaims Anarchist, nobody gets lynched, which is a bad idea of course, and then everyone dies and the Evil Detective wins. Wow, they actually did it. Maybe we did lack some bullets after all. Also in the 8th game, we see the Headhunter be subject to the double kill. Butcher and Vigilante are 2 amazing kills for the Evils. But now that the Seer didn't die, we already see 2 Seer claims, showing that it's one of the somewhat claimable roles. Of course, Astro rises a new moon and 16 gets mislynched. Their info was 5 Wolfluencer and consequently they get killed at night by the Astro. Ironically, 12 gets muted and then also uses a Fortune Teller card to reveal themselves as Grumpy Grandma. 8 is Fortune Teller, 3 is the other card owner and reveals themselves as Priest. 10 waters 1, who is Stubborn Werewolf, and 11 is Sorcerer. Next day, 1 and 3 might very well die. 1 dies first. Journalist was intoxicated and killed, and Evil Detective avenges the village but also kills the Priest. Time for Revolution. The Revolution does not prevent 3 from dying though. Did you actually believe their Priest claim? The pacifist has used their ability, there is no voting today. Now night 6 is crucial as 2 gets muted here and 14 gets killed, meaning that if 2 is not Evil Detective, the Evil Detective wins. But okay, 2 is Evil Detective. He was really close to be fair, but at least we won. So far the green setup has been kind of balanced, so this promises to be an exciting last game. And what the f***? The Headhunter couldn't live another night, this time the werewolves are the ones to be blamed? Sorcerer and Seer died too, this is definitely good for the village, I would say. Vigilante 7 knows that 5 is Evil Detective, so 5 goes down, and yeah, this ain't good for the Evils. And what's it with people using cards to reveal themselves as Fortune Teller? Journalist dies, Priest kills the Toxic Wolf, and it's just 1 werewolf right now. Minus Anarchist 2. Okay, let's just skip forward, 12 is Stubborn Werewolf. And here, the reveal abilities really helped the village in this game, especially Fiji finding Evil Detective Day 1 was of great help, so let's go, another point for us. The current points, Darius and I have 6 and Joker and Raphael have 3. With that in mind, Darius and I are behind the Evils of Setup Yellow, whereas Raphael and Joker side with the village. No matter what, there will be a tie for first place. Question is, can the Evils, who look very strong here, get at least 1 win in these 3 games? If they get a perfect record, we end up with a 4-way tie with everyone having 6 out of the 12 possible points. Let's see what's gonna happen. The yellow setup is the one in which Raphael made a balanced village, Darius took Instigator, I went for the random werewolf, and Joker took Ritualist as his first pick. With Confusion Wolf in-game, we don't know what 16 was, but of course, it's either a villager or the Instigator. The random werewolf turns out to be a shadow in this game, and they didn't get lynched at least. 16 claimed Gambler, 12 goes down because of the Flagger with Hidden Roll, but claimed Bodyguard, so this is definitely a case of 12 being fake, because a real Bodyguard wouldn't have died in just one attack. Gunner shot the Bellringer, Village killed Shadow Wolf, Analyst goes down. As long as the recruits are alive, the evils should have this, but we don't know exactly whether the Instigator lives or if 12 was a werewolf. Well, now guess what? Recruits die in a tense voting phase. Also, how often do you see an Avenger tagging a Gunner? Looks kinda funny, even if it's just a recruit, and yeah, we know that Avenger is not actually a villager. Berserk goes down. Flagger is really good here and managed to kill the Confusion Wolf and earlier the Instigator. Village has a clean game. Maybe this will be a lot harder for the evils than that we thought. Game 11. There are still 2 chances for me and Darius to win just one game. Who are you rooting for, by the way? Me and Darius, or a big comeback from Raphael and Joker? Let me know in the comments. Night 1 sees 4 die with no roll. Only 16 claims Analyst, so Evil 14 gets 14 votes, and the recruits already die here. Wolfseer and Doc. Wolfseer down makes the werewolves weak too, and the Doctor was the RV, which is especially a huge shame because it's a big scapegoat when there's an RV Doctor. Werewolves at least take revenge, and Insti kills the Loudmouth, who then nullifies free. Analyst comes back up. Gunner shoots Avenger, who does a correct tag here by tagging 9. The village can still go for free either way. Surprisingly, Confusion Wolf saved the ability for night 3 and they ghost kill 5. 2 is Confusion Wolf. Flagger redirects to the Ritualist, which is a bad redirect here, but yeah, it's just clearing up some stuff. 12 is Random Werewolf, Jelly Wolf, and here we see another comfortable village win. I actually am scared now that we may not win with this evil lineup at all on this setup. It's game 12, Joker and Raphael at 5 points, Darius and hypostein at 6. It is the grand finale. Who will be victorious? Werewolves kill 5 and 2 and 14 have conflicting info on 7. 14 says 7 not village, 2 says they are village. 7 is the only bodyguard claim though, so 14 gets killed and is Trickster or Trickstered. Confusion Wolf decides to not hide again here and kills the Analyst. The Berserk gets shot, and if 13 is really bad, it might be very bad for us. We don't really know if the werewolves killed the right player in 8, but at least their kill took place. The Gunner is definitely making an end to our hopes as Soulless kills another werewolf, and now it's just the Insti team. Their leader gets lynched, Gambler gets killed, at least the info is gone now, but are the evils in time with that? 15 is a Loudmouth claimer, but happens to be Confusion Wolf, and well, that's it. With an insane comeback, we can say that Joker, Raphael, Darius and I all got 6 points. On the first and last setup, the village has a 100% win rate, but on the red and green ones, we did see a serial killer win and an evil detective win actually. We absolutely have some unfinished business here, but what about the players? Well, on a shared second place with 6 points, we have Young, Stoldervos, Arsenic, Catnip, Sunshine, Dama Gaming, Fancy Fence. And our absolute winner with a stunning 8 wins out of 12 at most. Whether they were lucky or skilled, it is Bouquet. Alright, thanks for the watch. Check out this video next and definitely check out Darius Brawl, DatJokerHD and KO Raphael on YouTube. I will link all their channels in the description, including the Twitch channel as well of Raphael and Joker. I will see you later and don't be a traitor. Goodbye.